Tua has always been great. You see the greatness that's still in there. That touchdown to Waddle last week. Go back and watch that throw.
Mike McDaniels did believe in you. He did rebuild your confidence. He did rebuild your confidence, and he did pay you.
All right, welcome to Fitz and Whit. I am Fitz, that is Whit, and yes, this is my favorite shirt. Thank you, Chubbies. And this is a Wave original. Subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget to give us 5 stars if we deserve it. Follow the show on social media at Fitz and Whit. That's Fitz A-N-D Whit. New episodes every Wednesday.
Another wild week of NFL action, Fitz. We got some big stories from the weekend. I thought a little bit of boring on Sunday, but there's a couple games that did pique my interest, especially the ones we got coming up this Thursday. We're going to check in on our respective college football programs. Unfortunately, not a good Saturday in Baton Rouge. I'll just put it that way.
I didn't hear. I can't wait to hear what happened at LSU.
Well, let's just say a lot of freaking money was spent on Sunday. That's not usually a good thing. We'll also take some time to remember your great friend Nick Mangold. What a great player, teammate, husband, and father that he was. Special human being, that's for sure. And how about the Jets winning one for Nick on Sunday? Even though it was against the Bengals, awesome. I loved every freaking second of it for that guy. He deserves it all. Everybody was a winner in the AFC East on Sunday. The Jets, Fitz, does this mean the Bills' offense is fixed? I don't think so. We'll give you a preview of this week's big Thursday night game between the Ravens and Dolphins, 2 lifeless teams that all of a sudden have some newfound energy, baby. But first, all right, Fitz, let's get it going, baby. Our guest today is a 20-year NBA vet, a 3-time NBA champ. He is the first undrafted player to set a franchise rebounding record. He recently had his number 40 retired by the Miami Heat, and you can catch him covering the NBA on Amazon Prime. Give a big Fitz and Whit welcome to our guy, Udonis Haslem, baby.
Hey, our teammate. What's up, UD?
Man, I appreciate y'all. I'm happy to be here, fella, to talk a little football, which is, I'll let you in on a secret, probably my favorite sport. Probably my favorite.
Let's go, baby. We got 4 championships on this show right now. It's great.
Stop. We're trying. Well, if we count Ivy League championships, we have 6. But I'm trying to. Who's your favorite team, Udonis? Trying to figure that out, football wise.
I'm a little confused.
So if you guys haven't noticed, this is usually how I watch the game at home. So usually at home, there it is. Listen,
right there.
So when I'm at home, I'm watching the game like this, and I lock myself in my club room, and my wife and my kids know like Sundays don't bother me. Like I'm locked in. Like if the Dolphins can control how my whole day go. If my day go good, then that means they won. My Sunday's been rough.
I'm about to say. Okay, so where are you at right now?
I got a question for him. No. We got to start with a different one, Whit. We got to start with a different one.
All right, what you got?
Now look, UD. We know each other a little bit. You know, we've chopped it up a few times now that you're a teammate, an Amazon guy. I played for 17 years. I played on 9 teams. I bounced around. I've got thick skin. I need you to give me your scouting report of me when I was the Dolphins quarterback.
This is a good one.
Oh, man. Competitor, straight up gunslinger. You was going to let it fly. You was not going to hold back. You were fearless. And I always appreciated that about you. And then I got a chance to research you a little bit. And there were some times where I felt like, you could have been the starter, but, Tua came in and you handled it like a pro. And I always appreciated that about you because I always like that in locker rooms.
Hell yeah. I wasn't fishing for compliments, but I do appreciate it.
Yeah. No. I'm going to be honest with you. You let it fly. You just let it go. You had a little bit of that Brett Favre in you. I mean, it could go to the other team, but you was letting it go, though. You wasn't
a few times. Only a few times.
You had a little bit of that Brett Favre in you. It might go to the other team, but you was letting it go, though. I had no quarrels with somebody that went out slinging.
I always love the gunslinger term because you know that somebody's saying like, hey, man, that guy wasn't afraid to throw it in anywhere. But he also threw it to the other team a couple times, too.
This is the most catchable ball ever in NFL history, Whit.
Most catchable ball. That's Fitz's slogan. By anybody. So UD, tell us right now, obviously it hasn't, you said it's been a rough start to the year, but bounce back against the Falcons. Where are you at right now with this Dolphins team?
I mean, I'm encouraged. I mean, you guys know this, being in a locker room and, when you get to the point where there's nobody coming, there's no cavalry, and all you got is each other. And you reach the point where, the embarrassment has, gotten to the point where it's like, okay, we're looking at each other. It's like gut check time. So I felt like they got to that point and they showed some resolve, which is encouraging. But it's still work to do. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, when we look at what Baltimore is doing. They're in the same situation as Miami, so they can be desperate too. So you got two desperate teams coming in here Thursday.
Yeah, it's always an amazing thing. It's like the phrase "winning cures all." It's so true. You know, they had so many troubles. We're talking about firing Mike McDaniel. We're talking about his Tua the guy. They win a game. He scores or throws 4 touchdowns. You know, all of a sudden they're back, baby, but they got to keep doing it because so much of it is about confidence. And for you, over the years, when you had your struggles, like how did you lean in to find that confidence again? Because that was always something that, you know, I'm always encouraged and interested to hear other guys and pros and how they do it.
Man, I had some dark days, but I think one thing that I've learned is that you got to learn how to enjoy other people's success in this business. Like if you're only caught up in yourself and your own success, you're gonna have a miserable career. Because 9 times out of 10, if you're not playing well, somebody is playing well. So you got to be able to like encourage that guy and like dive into what he's doing well. And then when your time come back around, then they'll give you that same energy, man. But I've learned that there's so much in this business that you can't control that you really got to learn how to enjoy other people's success, man. If you're only just caught up in yourself and how you're doing and how you playing and how things are going for you, you have a miserable ass career.
Yeah, you do. You said it that way. It is the truth, man. I mean, I think the coolest part is when you're making things, you know, bigger than just you. And it's like, you know, it's about all of our success. And you being one of those guys considered an all-time NBA culture guy. I mean, everyone talks about what an awesome teammate, who you were day in and day out, your journey. What would you say, like when you look back, not just this team on the football field, but you look at some of these struggles they've had with the Tua and the media, and then some of the things that you felt some splintering. Like if you're in that locker room, like what's just advice you'd give to them? Like, hey man, like weathering this storm together and coming out of it as us, right?
For me, it's quiet the noise, man. Quiet the noise and focus on the people that's in this locker room. Those are the only people that matter. I think every conversation should be had between the players and the coaches. I don't think any conversations go to the media unless that's discussed between the players and the coaches first. That's how I've always handled business. We keep everything in-house, and we protect each other. You know, right or wrong, you take sides for your brother, and we'll figure out what we got to do later. But at that particular moment, you know what I'm saying? I think everything should be handled in-house, and I think Tua understands that. He probably made some mistakes with speaking on certain things. But once again, I think, you know, showing accountability for those things, which I heard he did. And then once again, like Fitz said, winning cures everything. You know, you look at that team and they're not that far away. I mean, Tua got 15 touchdowns. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Stafford leads with 17. Now Tua got 10 interceptions. That's a problem. So we gotta shut that down. But if I'm not mistaken, A-Chain is got about 530 something yards, total, which that's more than like McCaffrey. That's more than like Gibbs. Like these are guys who we consider elite. So, like, they ain't that far off. Now, defensively, they got some work to do. This is where the problems occur. You know, the secondary has some issues. We do have the leading tackler in the NFL, in Jordan Brooks, which is good. But I think D-line, we could get a little more pressure. So, we're going to have to score points because I don't think we're going to be shutting nobody down.
He's a true fan, Whit. You can hear it. All those stats mentioning guys that people don't know about. A-Chain's a stud, man. And
yes.
I was curious, if there were going to be any trade rumors with him. I heard like Kansas City, and it was like, no, please no. They don't need a weapon like that. We don't need to see Kansas City get their hands on A-Chain. But I want to go back to what you said earlier, because I think it's really important for what we do now, which is appreciating and enjoying other people's success. And so you're making the turn to TV analyst now, and you guys have the studio show going on. The first one, it was Blake and Dirk and Steve and, of course, the wonderful Taylor Rooks. But I felt like on our show, that's been a big part of it. It's been really cool to see Whit, come into his own. It's been great. Sherm's got his own vibe. Tony's got his own vibe. And Carissa is our point guard. But how do you think that first show went? And was it different than you thought it was going to be? Or give me some insight on that.
I mean, it went great. I mean, we had so much damn practice. I mean, we were practicing just to practice. We was practicing the practices. We practiced the practice of the practice. I mean, so it was so much, work behind the scenes that led up into that. I think that once we got on set, I think everybody was calm. I felt like everybody felt like we had done this 1,000 times because of the reps we had put in. It's funny that you brought that up because I wanted to know, like, when you guys first got together, like, how did it, like, how long did it take to break the ice and start cracking jokes on each other? We at that point right now where we teeter-tottering cracking jokes, and I'm like, oh, I got a little shot I could fire, but I don't know if I want to let it go right now. How long did it take you guys to get to the jokes and just break the ice? Because we got a group chat right now. We have a lot of fun, but we get to the point we crack a little jokes, and we got to have some thick skin.
I think
it's
really important that you have to know that it's coming from a good spot. You have to know that it's coming from the right place, and you're not trying to put somebody down. And that takes a little bit of time to be able to have that trust in your teammates. A funny one that happened to us a couple weeks ago. We're in New York, and I just told Blake this because Dirk looks so awkward on the couch. And it's like, if you notice something, then like the viewer at home certainly notices it. So it's okay to like point it out. But Richard Sherman says Wandale Jones instead of Wandale Robinson during a highlight, and he's going on, and I think in year one I would have let it slide. I wouldn't have said, "Oh no, Sherm, you got it wrong." But it's coming from a good place. So I said, "You mean Wandale Robinson, Sherm, right?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, Wandale Jones. That's my friend from home, Wandale Jones." And it came into this like funny moment. But I think as long as it comes from the right place and you trust the guys that you're doing it with, then you're going to be okay. And Blake is quite the jokester, so I'm sure he's got plenty in the chamber.
Dude, you got to watch out for him because he's over there writing them at home, UD. So when you come at him, here's the thing with Blake, though. I think this is the thing with Blake, UD, is that sometimes you got to go so personal with him. You got it because he's at home, like literally like on a chalkboard and like writing jokes about you constantly.
Well, and he's got a writer's room. Yeah.
Dude, he's got a whole entire list.
I can see that.
So you got to come after him because he's going to be ready. You know he's coming firing if you come at him.
I can see that. I think me and Blake going to be able to go keep it going and go toe-to-toe. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, he got me and Stafford. We were playing in a golf event. And we're playing the thing. He's riding by in his golf cart, and we both kind of like smiling, saying what's up. His first time we'd seen him that morning, and he looks at us and he's like, "Oh my goodness, all those pretty teeth and all that CTE," and he just like keeps rolling, and we're like, and he just drives by, and we both look at each other, and we're like, "Did he say CTE?" And like.
Man.
But it was like so good. Like his timing, he's so good at it. But it was great. But he actually felt bad. He came back like 10 minutes later and he's like, "I'm really sorry. That was a good joke, but I feel bad about it now. So I got to apologize." But he roasted us right in front of all these people. It was so good. It was really good. He's good at it.
Hey, I'm laughing at UD when he was saying they did practice on practice and practice for practice. And yeah, we did that shooting competition. We're over there working and, breaking down the game and doing our, analysis. And we've got UD in the corner and Dirk and Steve Nash and Blake Griffin practicing 16-footers
and
to
nobody
beat us in a shooting competition. It was Taylor too. Taylor's been grinding for a month on those shots, UD.
Listen, I heard she had a shooting coach. Blake told me she actually had a shooting I swear, Blake said, he was like, yeah, the guy, I can't remember which trainer it was. He said the trainer told him, "Hey, yeah, I just finished training Taylor." Blake said he looked at him and said, "Taylor who?" And he was like, "Taylor Rooks." So
she's so dang competitive, man.
We appreciate you guys for letting her go too. By the way, she's a star. She's a star. By the way, people tell us. I tell guys there's always one guy in every locker room you can't get rid of. For us, it's one woman that we can't get rid of. She has really kept it together, and she makes it so easy.
She's a superstar, man. She is a superstar. We said that, really when we got a chance to be around each other, you were kind of asking, like, once we all were kind of around one another and you get to know each other's personalities and your passion for doing things. I mean, it didn't take long to realize that Taylor Rooks' star is just going to keep shooting because, man, she is really special. She's devoted to it. She has such a unique personality. It's been tough for us these last few weeks. We're happy you guys are on the team, but we're also losing some people, UD. So we're kind of keeping track a little bit of like who comes with us on Thursday nights now and travels, who stays home. We're kind of the new child is in the house and we're the older sibling that's like, all right, now how much do you give him for his birthday? What are they getting? So we're tracking, UD. We're watching now.
Hey, listen, we appreciate you guys' sacrifice. We appreciate you guys sacrificing. That's what it's all about. The team is sacrificing.
UD, I want to ask you. I thought it was amazing, and watching your guys' first show. And you guys, I don't even want to watch our first shows because it's probably laughable at how bad it was and how good we thought we were doing. But I got to give you a ton of props. The segment that you guys did, where you did the pick and roll, and you have the LED basketball court, and you're doing the X's and O's, and just teaching. What do you guys What are you guys trying to accomplish in general with that studio show? Because it certainly seems like, at least for that initial one, that there's going to be some teaching going on to try to further the knowledge of the game of basketball.
Yeah, I think we want to make sure that people see the game within the game. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of times people see the end result, and they don't understand exactly how teams got to the end result. You know, I want you to understand why they specifically are targeting this player. It might not be because they want to get this player in foul trouble. It might be because they want to get somebody else open. So they're targeting this guy because they know on the switch, this guy is going to miscommunicate and this guy is going to get open. So it's so many little details that go on within the game. And I'm sure you guys understand that in football as well, that we want to kind of break it down for the common fan at home that sit on the couch can understand exactly what's going on. And also on the other side of it, I think that we're starting to lose the teaching part of the basketball game. When I watch NBA games, that right now, when I'm watching the game at home, I am complaining. Nobody is taking their 2-9. If you're on the weak side, you should have 1 foot, or at least most of the time 2 feet, but at least 1 foot in the paint on that weak side, taking your 2.9. We do not take our 2.9. Another thing on defense, we do not communicate. I can watch a whole defensive possession and I see nobody on defense talking. We used to talk every single time. I'm low man. I'm at the nail. Here, I'm the rotation guy. Every single time, and that was just a habit. So I'm just watching these habits being lost, and I don't understand why. Let's go back to the old, if it's not broke, don't fix it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So those are the things that I think we want to get back to. But we don't want to make it like school. It's not like class. We want to enjoy it. We want to have fun. We want to highlight the athleticism. You know, we want to do all those things. But we also want to tell you why those athletes are getting the spectacular plays that they're getting.
Yeah, and when you look at you talk about those little things. Like, I always wanted this because y'all's season's so much longer than ours, right? I mean, when you get into a football season, it's like every single week is so pivotal, and these little tiny things end up, you're like, man, just you can look back at a team season, it's like, man, there's 4 plays that might dictate an entire year for a team. But for you guys, it's such a long journey. And as you sit there right now, like, what do you look at early in the year right now to kind of tell you, hey, these are some things I identify about this team, or little things like you're talking about that when we get towards the end of this season, they're going to be a contender, or they're going to be a team that I think is going to be better and better? What are some of those little things you're looking for?
Teams that are in shape early. You know, I know a lot of times, and there was this old thing where, you know, we come into training camp out of shape and we'll play our way into shape and we'll get in shape during preseason, and then by the time the season comes, we'll hit the ground running. No, your ass going to hit the ground and get hurt. You need to come in shape and be ready to go. So I immediately take notice to the team that come in shape and that are getting up and down the floor and that are ready to go. That doesn't mean they're doing everything right, but that means that they actually put themselves in a position to be successful early. I think a lot of teams come into training camp and those guys aren't in shape, and they kind of try to play themselves into shape and trying to get into a rhythm. I believe in hitting the ground running, coming to training camp, so you don't have to spend time getting in shape. So you can spend time creating a system, implementing your culture, getting if you want to change how you play. For instance, the Miami Heat this year, we went from playing as a slow team to playing as a fast team. In the past, the Miami Heat has been the slowest team in the NBA, or one of the slower offensive teams in the NBA. Through preseason and through these first 3 or 4 games, the Miami Heat has been one of the faster paced teams in the NBA. So those are things that you need to. You can't come into training camp and be out of shape. You need to be in training camp. You need to be in shape because we run as soon as we get in here, because this is a new system for everybody and we need to learn it, and we need to do it every single day and create these habits. So those are things that I look at immediately. If you come in shape, immediately you get my attention because you're serious.
All right. So does it pain you, though, that the Miami Heat, I mean, you play faster, which means you're going to give up more points probably too, 115 points a game. Is this just the new NBA? 115 points is good now, holding opponents too? Because I know it's always been an organization that's prided themselves on defense.
I have been a little bit disappointed so far in the defense in the preseason. In the early season. In the early season, we've had about 3 or 4 50-point games, which is a lot. We've had about 7 40-point games, which is a lot. So I'm, once again, putting it on the habits and the things that are being taught in training camp. I think we're getting away from our defensive habits. We're not taking our 2-9 on the weak side. We're not communicating. We're not keeping our eye on the ball. You know, just those small things. But I also attribute it to the offense being a little different now. I think offenses are taking more pages out of the pages of the European offense, basketball. More movement without the ball, less pick and rolls, a lot of cutting, a lot more space. Instead of being a catch and go, they're doing a go and catch, where they're catching it on the move downhill, just like a football play. You know what I'm saying? So you're already getting that ball to those guys on the move, so it's harder to stay in front of these guys. So I think it's a little bit of bad habits and just a changing of the way the game's being played offensively, and more so taking a page out of the European style of basketball.
You think the skill level Right, and just as a whole, not the most skilled guys now versus when you started, but you think as a whole the skill level is much higher than it was 20, 25 years ago?
Oh, yes, for sure. 10 times more. These guys are way more talented than we ever were. I think where you give us the edge is on the grit and the grit and mental toughness part. I think when you talk about the talent that this generation has and, just natural ability, I think it's unmatched. It's not even close. Like, these guys do things that we could never do. You know what I'm saying? But if you lock us in the room with those guys, I think we got a chance just because of our toughness. And it's because of our toughness and, how we were built.
You ain't getting out of this room.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you say that, I just think of Wemby. I mean, it's like, dude, watching this guy, it literally looks like AI. Like, it doesn't even look real. I mean, the guy, it's like I'm sitting there thinking to myself while I'm watching it, we like guys, you're trying to think of, like, if you're a vet in that locker room, you're like, all right, I'm going to tell the guys this is how you can handle it better, or this is what our answers could be. And I'm going, man, I wonder what in the world they tell guys. Like, hey, listen, he's just going to get his. Like, I don't know what the answer is.
He is 7'5", and they say he grew to 7'6". He literally blocked 3 shots, dribbled the ball, and pulled up like 2 steps across half. That's unguardable. That is unguardable. Yeah, you know what? This is where you got to tell your guys, listen, for 4 quarters, just make sure you can test everything. He's going to make tough shots. Just stay mentally tough and just hope that in the 4th quarter, it starts to be a little bit left. It starts to be a little right. It starts to be short. One of my teammates, the guy that I'm on set right now with, Dirk Nowitzki, listen, plenty of eyeball sandwiches contesting Dirk shots. Plenty of them.
Yep.
I got to stay with it. I got to contest every time. I can't get discouraged. I got to stay with it. And maybe over the course of 48 minutes, it starts to go a little left. It starts to go a little right. Now he's short. But these guys are great. These guys are great players.
I think with Dirk, you can intimidate him a little bit because I have a buddy, Andrew Whitworth, that participated in a shooting contest versus Dirk. Was it 3 3-pointers, Whit?
We shot 3. I mean, he went over 3. I made 1. You know what I mean? It's the highlight of my life. Unfortunately, it's not documented, but I do have a picture of me celebrating, and it will be the only thing I'll tell people, because listen, I grew up in North Louisiana. I was a Mavericks fan, been to plenty of Mavericks games. So I was a massive Dirk fan. And to even get the chance, I told somebody the other day, they're like, man, how do you like Thursday Night Football? I said, let me tell you what I love about Thursday Night Football. What I just got to do last week, to be with you guys, like hanging out with some absolute legends of the NBA, guys I admire, watch, you yourself, and just sit there and be like, man, where am I right now? This is crazy. Like, this is the coolest thing ever. We're in this 6 studio. I'm hanging out with Dirk and Steve and UD and Blake. I mean, it was wild. That was a really cool night, but that was definitely the top of it.
I think we all had that moment, for sure. I think we all had that moment. I mean, I had the same moment sitting up there with you guys. Like I said, before you guys were sitting up there and doing the TNF thing, what you guys were doing as players. I'm a huge fan. Like I said, every Sunday I'm sitting in front of the TV and I'm watching and I'm paying attention and, just the success and the way you guys played the game. I'm a huge fan, man. So this is like me, a kid in a candy store. Like I said, I'm from Florida. We sprinkle in some basketball, but you know how we do when it comes to that football.
We didn't even mention Red Panda either, guys. I mean, we were.
Oh my gosh, crazy!
We were witnessing greatness. The comeback is real. She's back, baby.
Listen,
after
that view
wrist
of
injury.
Sherm celebrating. I mean,
listen, Blake set the bar high with that one. Blake set the bar high.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
I don't know how we topped that one.
I don't either.
Hey, Fitz, what do great football and great sex have in common?
What? Are you? Well,
I'm asking.
Physicality and grass stains. That's what they have in common.
I'm definitely with you on that first part. And Rose Sparks makes every round of sex feel like winning a championship. I'm not a real Rose Sparks user, but I'm excited to tell you what it's all about. Rose Sparks are 2-in-1 prescription treatment for guys who want harder and more controlled erections.
They hit the bloodstream, baby, fast because they dissolve under the tongue. And getting hard fast means there's less waiting to perform with.
Plus, it's a dual action formula that stays active in your system for up to 36 hours. So you can be ready for round 2 and even the morning after.
New sexual health patients get $15 off their first order of Sparks on a recurring plan.
Connect with a provider at ro.co/Fitz and Whit to find out if prescription Rose Sparks are right for you. That's ro.co/Fitz and Whit for $15 off your first order.
Sparks is a compounded drug product. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. For full safety information, go to row.co/safety info. Football is back, and so is your chance to cash in like never before with DraftKings Pick 6, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. Your game day instincts can score you real money fast. Here's the play.
Yeah, just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats, from breakout rookies to elite QBs, and unlock the upside every snap brings. The better your calls, the bigger your payout. No gimmicks, no convoluted rules, just you, your player reads, and a shot at big returns. Nail your picks, and you're not just winning, you're stacking. Pick 6 rewards bold play with payouts beyond the minimum if you beat the field.
And here's a kickoff bonus. New DraftKings customers get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry on your first pick set.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus age, and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction.
Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable. Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. I'm always impressed, and I think it's hard when you watch basketball on TV. It's hard to realize like how big everybody is, and always seeing you guys, it's insane on the height. But why do NBA guys lie about their height?
I don't know, because I was lying too. Y'all probably know I'm not 6'8". Y'all probably
That's the first thing you do
not
when we met each other.
UD.
You
were
did not
lying.
meet each other. We meet each other. He goes, "Man, you know we lie about our height, right?" And I'm like, "What?" And we walk up, and he's like, "I ain't 6'8". I was like, "No, you ain't."
Not even close, man. I don't know. Dwayne lies too. He's not 6'4". He's not 6'4". I think it only matters when you're a short guy, because tall guys, because Kevin Durant's trying to lie and be shorter. He doesn't want to be a 7 foot. He's legit 7 feet. So I just think it's a position thing. When you're a big guy, you want to be taller, and maybe when you're a guard, you don't. If you're tall, you don't want to be as tall because you don't want to be considered a big. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think it's just a mental thing, because I heard this, and I'm not sure, but I heard this a few years ago when I was playing with Braun. I heard Braun only allow his shoes to go up to a 16 because he didn't want big men to wear his shoes. He only wanted his shoes for guards. You know what I'm saying? So, so it's this thing where, big men are looked at as maybe not as marketable, maybe not as cool. And, the guards are maybe the cool people,
Sorry,
always
Whit,
hate
no
on us.
LeBrons. No LeBrons.
No LeBrons for the big fella.
It don't matter, Whit. They can't get it without us.
That's it, baby.
They
ain't getting nowhere without us.
They ain't getting nowhere without us.
Nowhere. I tell Fitz that every week.
What kind of player would you have been if you played in the NFL? What position you think you would have played?
Defensive end, and that's what I played for a little while. But UD took one in the knee, and it was an airtime decision. UD took one in the knee. It was an airtime decision.
That's it, Coach.
Yeah, and it was about 10th grade.
Coach.
Yeah, it was about 10th grade, fellas. And at that time, I thought I had a chance. I was pretty good at defensive end and tight end. I thought I had a chance, and I was coming around, and I had a clear shot at the QB, and I was about to get there. And right before I got there, somebody got me, folded me up like a lawn chair. And I just remember heading off the field, and I don't know how, but pads was coming off as I was leaving the field. This came off, that came off. This came off, this went that way, and I never went back. I just never went back.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, UD, let me ask you this. All right, obviously this is a big week. I mean, Dolphins coming off a win, Ravens might have Lamar back, might not. What do you think the keys are Thursday night for these Dolphins getting it done?
Man, because both teams struggle defensively. I thought about what you said the other day when you talked about Pittsburgh and that not being the team that we knew defensively. This is not the same Ravens defense that we're used to seeing.
No.
This is not what we usually see with the Ravens. So, man, I'm thinking, like, when I look at both of these teams, it's going to be who can get some stops. Like, because both teams are probably going to score on each other. Like, so who can sprinkle in some turnovers and get a couple of stops here and there? And I think that's what it's going to come down to, because I think both teams are going to be able to score. I don't think nobody's going to be shutting nobody down. So if you can create some turnovers and maybe get some stops, I think that's what it's going to come down to. And with them getting Lamar back, I mean, that's just going to make it that much more tough, because you all know once you get your superstar back, that just gives you a boost to your locker room. Like, now everybody's infused, everybody's energetic. We got our boy back, and there's no I don't think it's a coincidence that he came back against the Dolphins.
Yeah. But that's what I was
in
wondering with
NFL, you don't have
local,
the runs.
He's a local boy.
Yeah.
He is a local.
Yeah.
And so they're going to be jacked up. He's there. But,
Yeah.
in the NFL, you don't have the runs that you get in basketball where, like, you can start a game, get down 20, you're going to come back, those kind of things. And in NFL, especially primetime games, it seems like the key is going to be them first couple series is if they can get up there and get some stops, get the run game stopped for the Ravens, get some quick scores, get some momentum. It's just amazing how many NFL games, if you can just get the first quarter, that you dominate it, that you can get yourself in a position to kind of control the rest of the game.
So I got a question for you guys. And this is what I see with the Dolphins in the offense, and maybe you help me out with Tua. The first option, he's great. It's when he has to try to get to that second, maybe third option. Is it a little happy feetish? Is it a little, is it a little uncomfortable for him? Or is that just me?
So here's the thing with Tua, that Tua's always been great at timing throws, rhythm throws, accuracy, anticipation. Those are like his elite traits. And I think what we've seen in the last few years, which is crazy, he's holding on to the ball a little bit more from 2 years ago, which was his best season, but his yards per attempt have gone down from 9 to 6 yards. So you've got a less explosive offense and a guy that's holding on to it a little bit more. He knows what his superpowers are. And unfortunately, with his injuries and things, he went from a guy that hasn't been able to create great when you get outside the confines of the offense to really there's not a whole lot coming at all because he's worried about staying on the field. He's worried about staying healthy and avoiding some of those big hits. So that's where the problem lies. If he's holding the ball for more than 2.5 seconds, it becomes a problem. But you see the greatness that's still in there. That touchdown to Waddle last week, go back and watch that throw and watch the anticipation when that ball leaves his hand, where he throws it, where Waddle is on the field when he throws that football. That's the magic of this offense, of the 49ers, is he's catch and run throws. And I think, as people have seen exactly what you said, like, let's get this guy off his first read. Let's clog the middle of the field. Let's make him throw outside the numbers, that it's gotten more difficult for them. And so the big thing now is how do they adjust? And I think the other thing that always goes back to quarterback play, and what I was kind of hinting at earlier with you, is confidence. Mm-hmm. It's amazing what confidence can do, not just to a quarterback, but any athlete. And with Tua, it seems like he's lost a little bit of his confidence this year. And you've seen that kind of maybe with some of the things he's said in the media. You've seen it with some of those multiple interception games, but that confidence can come back real quick. And hopefully last week, the 4-touchdown performance has good vibes in that locker room, and he's going to come out firing again this week. From
your perspective, obviously, you being an offensive lineman and your quarterback struggling. Because I remember when D-Wade was struggling one time, I went to the room and I had a book that I was reading. Literally, I'll never forget. It was a book called Reflections from T.D. Jakes I was reading. And it's a different, because he's a scorer. He's getting the ball in his hands. He holds a whole different responsibility than me. But this is something that I use when I'm going through hard times. You sometimes pull your quarterback aside when they're struggling and have those conversations, or how does that work with quarterback and linemen?
Yeah, I think there's always subtle things. I think sometimes in life, you could say this about a lot of different aspects. I don't care what it is, community service or anything you want to do in a positive light. I think sometimes we make it way bigger than it is, in the sense of, man, it's the subtle little things that just help people kind of reset their mindset and what they want to do and build confidence. And so I think of it like, there's plenty of opportunities probably when I played with younger quarterbacks where it might have been more of a conversation. And it more have been like, hey, man, why don't you and I go grab a cup of coffee or let's go sit somewhere and just chill. And, I don't look at it like, hey, I'm sitting here listing things you need to do. I look at it like, let's have a natural conversation. And if we kind of lean to talking some ball, like, well, I'll kind of shed some things that I think you should think about. Like, not necessarily you have to do them, but I think you should think about. Like, I look at one, obviously with Andy Dalton, with Jared Goff, there was plenty of that. But even one that was probably the hardest for me, playing with Matthew Stafford, somebody that I thought was an absolute legend, going to be a Hall of Famer. I was only with him for one season. We win the Super Bowl, obviously, but in that year, we had started the season really well, and he had started on fire. And then we had a 3-game losing streak where we had a rough stretch, and he had a rough game against the Titans, had like a pick 6 early in the game. And I'll never forget, I was like, man, all right, how do you reach like a vet who's done it all? He's made it all. Like, I don't know, like in what way can I, without it, like us being just peer to peer, can I do this? I actually was just like, hey, man, what do you got Monday night? Like, I knew we had some time off. I was like, he's like, man, I'm not sure what you got in mind. I was like, why don't we go down to Nobu, Malibu? Like, let's go, like, have a sweet dinner on the water, little reflect. I'm setting up a little, like, reflection time. I know what's going to happen. We're going to have 1 or 2 drinks. You're going to look out over that ocean, the sunset a little bit, and you're going to be like, damn, it's cool as hell where we are, what we're getting to do. And we did that. We had an awesome dinner, and I'll never forget his wife texting me the next day, and she was like, that dinner was pretty special. Like, that was really cool. You did that. Like, he's in a whole different mood today. And that led to us starting every Tuesday morning. We would meet. We called it the Breakfast Club. And the rest of the season, all the way through the Super Bowl, even when we won it, we would meet every Tuesday morning for breakfast down in Malibu, just like have breakfast together, have some coffee. And we ended up inviting the wives by the end of the year. And it became like a thing. It was kind of we're all veterans. We're the oldest dudes in the locker room. Let's go spend some time to just get away from it for a minute. And so it wasn't necessarily words of wisdom in that moment as much as it was like, hey, man, let me just remind you, man, like it's a blessing, not a burden, bro. Like what we get to do, as stressful as it may seem, as pissed off as you might be in a moment, man, it is a blessing. We get to go get out on these fields and play football and get paid to do it. And don't ever twist it in your mind that it's something else. And so that was really what that moment was about to me. And Lord, I'm thankful for him because it led to me getting my only championship in my life. So I'm forever grateful to Nine. That's for sure.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
That's awesome. I would also say, and it was funny and interesting you talking about Dwayne Wade losing his confidence. It's like you never really think you see that, but it happens all the time, and the quarterbacks are the same way. Sometimes it takes a teammate coming up to you and telling you that they believe in you. I think that's a huge part of it too. Is
4 most powerful words in the world.
It's it, man. And so, I look at this Miami team, UD, with when Tua took off after Flores left. Why did he take off? He was in a great offense with Mike McDaniel, what was happening. But Mike McDaniel came in and he said those 4 words. He said, I believe in you.
Yes.
And that breathes so much confidence into Tua. And somewhere along the way in these last few seasons, that's been lost a little bit. But I think it's important to know, as a person in a position of leadership, as a person like Tua, where everything falls on his shoulders, it's important for him to hear that from his teammates too.
And that you brought that up, I think that's what bothered me the most about the comments that Tua made when he made the comments about the leadership, because Mike McDaniels did believe in you. He did rebuild your confidence. He did rebuild your confidence, and he did pay you. So regardless of where you were thinking about Mike McDaniels when you questioned the leadership in front of the media, that's where the kind of looked at when you said what you said. But he was the guy who had your back when, a couple people questioned you, and when the city was questioning you, when Flores was questioning you, and people didn't know. Mike McDaniels came in and he had your back, and he believed in you, and he built you back up. So I think that's what really bothered me about Tua's comments. I know as players we get sensitive, so I know. We're very sensitive. We're all sensitive. So
we are that.
Yeah, we're very sensitive. So I know Tua was being a little sensitive, but I felt like he kind of didn't think about McDaniels in that moment, who had his back from day one. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
Can you think of any more turning points? There's 3 years that you won the NBA championships. Can you think of a turning point in one of those seasons that you were involved in that just got things, maybe they weren't feeling great, headed in the right direction?
Yeah. I never forget. We were in Toronto, and I think this was it might have been a Super Bowl. I think this was the Seattle Super Bowl. This is the one with Seattle, and they didn't give Marshawn the ball.
Patriots.
Yeah, and they didn't give him the ball. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, we were in Toronto, and we have been going through a little tough stretch. And right after that game in Toronto, we decided to stay, and we rented out like an area for drinks and food, and we watched the game. And I just remember we was tipsy. We was a little tipsy, and I just remember Shane Battier standing up on the bus and started giving this speech about touching the people and how thankful we should be to be in the situation we're in, and how we should just enjoy each other and their success. And it was just a whole bunch of like spiritual talk, but I don't know where it was coming from at that time, but we were going through a tough time. And it was more so about not just basketball, but more so just like, man, just enjoy where we at, enjoy each other, and enjoy people, and enjoy people that want to see you play, enjoy people that look up to you, and just enjoy all of this. Because a lot of times when you chase the championships And we were in a situation with that big three where it was a lot of pressure on us to take championships that we forgot. We forgot what it felt like just to be playing a game of basketball. We forgot what it felt like just to have the opportunity to be out there in that court. Because we went on that streak. Everything was about that 27-game winning streak, if you guys remember. So every single game, are you guys going to keep the streak going? Who's going to break the streak? And literally, it became about more than basketball for us. And it was so miserable. It was so miserable for us that when we finally, I think we lost a game, or we lost a couple games, and then we started to feel a little down about it. And Shane gave that touch the people speech, and we should be thankful, we should be happy, we should be joyful. And we went on another 12-game winning streak after that, and literally went into the playoffs and won another championship. But it was one of those weird moments where, as successful as we were kind of getting bored with the process, if that makes sense. Bored with the process, bored with the process, and lost a couple games, and you're seeing each other every day, and you start to lose sight of how special those moments really are. Because after that big three moment, it took me forever to get back to the damn finals. it took forever.
I love that. That's the truth, man. It really is. It's like sometimes you get lost in when people use that phrase, it's darkest before the dawn. It really is one of those things. Sometimes the darkest moments are right before it all turns, and you just got to keep hitting the wall and keep hammering through. And you're right, man. It's funny how in those moments we all do get so sensitive, and you start overreacting, and then all of a sudden you get a win and everything's healthy again, right? And you start moving in the right direction. Because I'll never forget, even that year, UD, to that story, one of the reasons that created the pressure, we had just traded for Von Miller and we had just traded for Odell Beckham. So it was this, just signed Odell Beckham, and so it was this expectation of all these things we were supposed to do now, and all of a sudden we go on a losing streak, and it's you start to feel oh man, everybody's expecting this of you, and you're worried about the expectations more than you are just going out and playing good ball and having fun and doing how you got here, right? Just going out and playing and enjoying the game and being great at it and having a passion for it. So it is crazy how you lose sight of those things in the moment. And, I think for the Dolphins this week, that's why I think it's such a huge opportunity for them, because this past weekend bought them a reset. Yes. And now it's regardless, I'm not talking win or loss. We all know that. Regardless, how they come out Thursday night and compete together is a chance for them to continue now to start a whole new narrative, right? Regardless, win or loss, how we go out and fight together. Fitz and I were a part of an 0-8 team that got a chance to go do that. And I mean, you see it, even in your worst moments, when you click that over and start all pulling together, it's cool.
Whit, it reminds me of, when I went 10-0 at Harvard my senior year, and we were doing those economics problem sets late on Thursday night, just grinding, trying to figure that. No, is that what it? No. Hey, UD, my son is a freshman at Harvard right now, just a student, and I got a picture the other day. He's at the football game watching. I'm happy. He's been a Harvard football fan since the day he was born. That's the only place he's wanted to go, because that's where mom and dad both went. And he's watching the game, and he's got his laptop out, and he's doing his homework in the stands at the game.
So we got to put the laptop down.
Yeah.
Brady, we're not going to make any friends that way. What are we doing? Come on, Brady.
But at least he's doing his homework, though, Fitz. I mean,
you're right. You're right. What's your situation with kids, UD? How many kids you have?
I got 3 boys, man. I like to make love with my socks on. I got all boys, man. I ain't got no girls, man. I've been trying. I can't get a girl, man. Oh, these damn boys ain't gonna stick by me, man. I know they're not gonna stick by me.
You gone. They gone.
They gone, man. They gone.
Hey, I leave town, UD. I don't hear it. My girls text me constantly. I leave town, my boys, nothing. Not unless they need something, right? I need you to blah, blah, blah. Yeah. That's it. No, hey, how you doing, Dad? How's your trip?
Bro.
None of that.
Bro. That is it, man. So I'm making sure I'm gonna save my money, because they ain't gonna take care of me. I know this for a fact.
Yeah. Well, I mean, depending on where you're at in your journey there, I could tell you I've got some methods and ways to have a girl.
Oh, boy.
So
stop.
You let me know. I've got 7, UD. I had 2 boys.
Constitution again?
Then I had I had 4 girls in a row, so I know the ways. I'll hit you up offline and we could talk about it if you're still interested.
For sure. It started with wearing that shirt too. Give me one of them shirts, for sure. Let me get one of them.
For sure.
For sure. Let me get one of them.
You're having a girl if you get one of those, I guarantee
for sure. I might have triplets.
It got discontinued for some reason. I don't know why.
That thing look good on you, Fitz.
I just got I got a couple more just curious questions. We asked Blake Griffin this and told him that we had bed checks when we had to travel on the road, and he laughed in my face. You guys never have bed checks.
No bed checks.
Never had bed checks. No.
What was your favorite city to go to?
ATL,
as a player?
Man. ATL. Listen.
I was just there.
Magic. Listen.
Good hot wings.
It was some good times in Magic City. Listen, this is what I.
The wings are great.
This is what I would tell you guys. It's a lot easier to manage 15 guys going out than it is to manage 53. Like, we used to move in unison. We get in together, we get out together. Like, we moving at the same time, and like everybody, so we can keep up with each other when it's 15. So it was a lot tougher for the amount of guys that you guys.
Now,
I learned that from
all
Shaq.
the same hotel.
Yes.
Same hotel?
Yes,
Did y'all always stay at the same places?
Yes,
all that type of stuff?
We always stayed at the same. And I learned that from Shaquille O'Neal, man. My first championship, we won the first championship together. And that was the year of popping bottles. See, this generation don't pop bottles no more. That was popping bottles. So every city we would land in, Shaq was having a party, or Dwayne was having a party, or Antoine Walker was having a party, or Gary Payton. Somebody was having a party.
Love it.
But what everybody understood is that we're going to go together, we're going to stay an hour and a half, maybe 2, and we're going to leave together. And that was it. And that's how we moved.
So as the old head later in your career, you became the party planner, the event coordinator?
Yes, I did become the party planner, the event coordinator. That would be me. That would be me. But it was different. It was different though. Like I said, they don't pop bottles no more. They don't have to do that. So it was more so just planning dinner, paintball, whatever these kids like to do, man. I got to meet them where they at. You know what I'm saying? And I can't just expect them to come.
Yeah,
Fitz, I play PlayStation. I do it all, man. You got to meet them where they at. They gamers. They like they game in the dark. I walk in the room, all the lights off in their game, and I'm like, yo, my old ass will fall asleep. Like, I will fall asleep. They game.
Yep.
Oh, it makes it real. It makes it real. Makes it real.
This isn't real. What do you mean makes it real?
Yes, this you
nothing about this is real.
You feel my pain with? You know what I'm talking about. You've seen this.
UD, this is my moment that I realize it's time, okay? I come in from a walkthrough my last year. We have a young rusher who's been struggling with some knee issues, really bad to get on the field. And I'm like, Saturday walkthrough, we're playing tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And I'm like, hey, man, he's rushing out of the locker room. I'm like, where are you rushing to? He's like, oh, man, me and some of my homies, they're in town. We're going to go ride some dirt bikes out on the desert. And I'm like, wait. What? Like, you hadn't been on the field because your knee's bothering you, and you're headed to ride dirt bikes, and you play in 24 hours? Like, I'm out. I'm done. Yeah. That's it. I'm done. If I got to explain that one to you, I'm out. This generation's is different. I'm done. Yeah. I got nothing to. You're starting tomorrow. Yes. You do realize that, right? But it's crazy. It is so different, this generation and how they do things. To your point, I used to do that. It is wild how much that stopped. My first year in LA, I planned a party at the end of camp, and guys were like, what? Wait, well, why would we have a party? I'm like, no, it's just like we've been in camp together. So, like, let's break some bottles and eat some food and hang out together. Like, it was crazy having to explain to them, like, getting together, like hanging out with your teammate. It was wild.
Yeah, it's not like that.
My deal was when, in the NFL, UD, pretty much on every team I was on, we'd have O-line dinner. So usually it was the quarterbacks and the O-linemen that would go out, usually the night after weigh-ins, because you're always worried about weigh-in the morning of. And so you'd go, you'd celebrate, just break bread, have a good time. And towards the tail end of my career, order all the apps and everything else. And it's like 4 of the new linemen are just eating salads, no steaks. They're not touching the potatoes. They're not touching the mac and cheese. And that's when I knew I had to get out. It's a different NFL now. It's a different generation. But I'm still enjoying my steaks and my potatoes.
Man, the linemen.
Too many of them we do.
The linemen's supposed to always eat the steaks and mashed potatoes.
That's what I'm saying.
They changed. Now they got diet plans and the whole
Hey, and don't say, oh yeah, they look at Whit. Whit has undergone it.
Now
if you would have met Whit in college, Whit was if you did the NBA height, he was 6'9", 380 pounds in college, and now he's 6'7", 290 pounds. The transformation has been insane. But he works his butt off at it too. How's your workout regimen these days?
Oh man, every day I hit the ground running. I hit the gym first, and from that point on, I like to load my days up. So I'm vice president of player development with the Miami Heat. So anytime I'm in town and they have practice, I get a chance to go there and I get to practice with the guys. We have shoot around this morning. I went to shoot around this morning. They had practice yesterday. I went to practice yesterday. So I get a chance to scratch my itch and still play and still have.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I still get a chance to. Don't let me hit a shot. Oh, I'm gonna talk.
Oh, they're not going to hear the end of it.
Man, listen, I might call you 7:30 that night. Hey, you remember that shot I hit on you today? Like, do not let me make a shot. So, I mean, today I did a shooting contest with one of the guys. We went in sudden death overtime. He beat me in sudden death overtime. But the fact that, I can still just go shoot shot for shot with those guys. So, just as much as I'm able to give them with my leadership and my wisdom, they give it back to me and 10 times more, man. Just keeping me young and enjoying and staying around the game and all these little nuances now that are changing with the NBA, and I need to be up on these things when I get up there on that desk with Taylor and with Blake and Dirk, and I need to be up on all these little nuances and all these little changes as the game continues to evolve.
Okay, last thing, what's the cadence? Like your Prime Video, you guys, are you every Friday right now? What's the schedule for you guys?
Right now we're every Friday, and I think towards the end when you guys start to move off a little bit, I think we'll start taking Thursdays and Fridays. But right now we're Fridays. Following up behind you guys, obviously what you guys are doing on Thursdays is amazing. So we just want to continue to try to emulate that kind of success, but obviously in our own way, with our own personalities and our own team, man. But you guys definitely set the bar high for sure.
And I know you know the spots in L.A., but if you ever need one, you're talking to the mayor of L.A., Andrew Whitworth, right there, so he can hook you up.
And Arizona, Fitz. I might be spending some time in Arizona too now, Fitz. I might be spending some time.
Come through Gilbert. He's got you connected.
Yeah, so I can show you where the dairy farms are. Yeah. You don't want to hang out where I'm hanging out, UD.
Nah, I might
dairy farms and coffee.
I might surprise you, Fitz, man. I might surprise you. Trust me.
All right.
He's so full of it. He owns the whole dairy farm. Don't let him act like it's something small. Listen, the guy owns half the city.
Of course he does. Of course he does.
I wish.
Of course he does.
I wish.
Harvard.
Well, thank you, brother.
Guy. Of course he does.
Stop it, man. Thank you for joining us, UD. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, bro.
Happy to have you.
We're excited to watch you guys, man.
Thank you, guys, and I appreciate you taking the time, man. And once again, this is a big deal for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm acting calm because I'm used to doing interviews, but it's a big deal for me, man. Football, I'm gonna stop saying might be. Football is my favorite sport, man. So in my heart and in my soul, I've always been a football player. So this is cool for me to be on this platform with y'all, man. Thank y'all.
Appreciate it, UD.
Thanks, brother.
All right, fellas, have a good one.
This next segment is presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. Okay, Beardos, another week of NFL action means another week to win big. We're moving on to week 9.
We're moving on to week 9, Whit. We're each going to get to pick our top 3 locks for players in week 9's games on DraftKings. I have my trusty yellow pad of paper here. Let me start with my first one.
Okay.
I'm going to go Jahmyr Gibbs. The guy's a touchdown machine, so I'm going more.
Ooh.
And they're playing the Vikings. Run defense has been questionable at best for most of the games this year. We just saw him on Thursday night. We just saw our guy, Kamani Vidal, run through him. So I think Jahmyr Gibbs is a more this week.
I like that one. I'm going to throw in Christian McCaffrey as a more this week because the San Francisco 49ers are basically just leaning on him to do everything on offense at this point. And going against a Giants team that I think that he will be the emphasis of how they're going to control the game. And I got Christian McCaffrey getting in.
Okay. I've got a touchdown guy, too. I'm going to go more Bijan Robinson. I don't know what the hell that was this last week and not getting him the ball. And I think it's going to be – this is one of those games they're going to be like, you know what, we made some mistakes. We didn't get it to the best player on the field. Drake London was out, and for some reason we still didn't get Bijan his touches. So Bijan Robinson more on the touchdown this week.
I love that, Fitz. I'm going to go with another more touchdown guy. We're loving touchdowns this week. I'm going Josh Jacobs of the Green Bay Packers.
Savage.
Come on, absolute stud. I think they love to lean on him as this stretch goes down. You think of last year, really what this offense was. I think they're going to continue to just turn it up. Jordan Love's playing the way he is, and Josh Jacobs going to be the closer that's scoring them when they get down in there. So I got him on more for touchdowns this week.
All right, my last touchdown more bet is going to be Jamar Chase. I just wrote this down because I was curious. Since Joe Flacco's been in the lineup, 3 games, he's been targeted 54 times in 3 games, Whit. For all of you doing math at home, that's 18 times a game, and he has 38 receptions in those 3 games. He's got 2 touchdowns with Flacco, 1 touchdown, none this week. But I say for this game, this week, I'm going more. Jamar Chase gets in the end zone.
I love that. I saw somebody critique Joe Flacco online, said, listen, I think that defenses need to figure out if you don't just make it on the pre-snap look where there's no possible way he can get it to Jamar, he's throwing it to him. He doesn't care who's open or what the coverage is.
54. He doesn't care if it's a run play. He's getting Jamar the ball. He's a smart man. He's made it so long for that reason.
Hey, listen, I think that they finally found themselves last week, so I'm going to go another more touchdown week for Davante Adams because I think him and Stafford got connected last week for a bunch of them. So I think that is going to continue. They're going to play well this week against the Saints. I think they'll do some scoring. So I got Davante Adams getting him one this weekend.
I love that. This season, play your player instincts. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code Fitz and Whit. That's code Fitz, A-N-D, Whit. Play just $5. Get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call. Ride the upside. In partnership with DraftKings, Pick 6, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction.
Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable. Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. Toyota is all in all season. This year, we're going deeper and giving fans more to lose their minds over. Bringing back another exciting year of Toyota Game Day giveaways. The official automotive partner of the NFL is rewarding football fans with a chance to win epic giveaways every week of the season.
Yeah, Fitz, just predict between big plays happening in the second half of every Sunday night football game and you get a chance to win prizes like Brock Purdy's Sequoia, NFL shop merch, and more.
This week's giveaway is Seahawks versus Commanders. Tell the people what they could win, Whit.
Fitz, participants will have a chance to win a $150 Uber Eats gift card. That's enough to feed my whole family? Maybe.
Is it? Your boys are getting older. I don't know.
The boys can eat.
The fact that they order 3 meals at every sitting now is crazy. Me too, though. You could probably feed, now that Brady's off at college, you could feed most of my kids with $150 from Uber Eats. It's 22 weeks of fun and thousands of prizes. Head over to toyota.com/NFL to learn more. That's toyota.com/NFL.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Ends on 2/8/26. Open to legal residents of the 50 U.S. D.C. 18 and over. For complete details, how to enter, prizes, and official rules, visit www.toyotasgamedaygiveaways.com.
What a guy. UD, our new teammate. He's one of those guys, I love what you always say, which is, it's how you make people feel. Yep. And that dude, when you meet him, when you talk to him, he makes you feel a certain way. He lights up the room, and he just oozes those great qualities of leadership. He was a glue guy, especially towards the end of his career, but right away you can see why, and what a cool conversation we got to have with him.
Yeah, it really was. The very first time I got to meet him, when he officially joined NBA on Prime, Amina introduced us, and it's just like literally probably 2 minutes into the conversation, I'm like, it feels like me and him have known each other forever. Like, you just feel immediately the energy he has, the passion he has for sports in general, obviously talking about how much he loves football too, and the knowledge, man. I'm so excited to watch, just like you talked about that segment the other night, talking about the Knicks and defensively how people play. And I think the more of that to come with Udonis and just what a teacher he is, man. His personality is infectious and his energy. And then he really has a passion to kind of help explain the game and what are the little things that are going to make this game better if we all understand them and we all do them better as the guys who play it. And so I think it's going to be really fun to watch their dynamic, all those guys, and then obviously Taylor running the show as he says, but it's going to be fun to watch them grow together. And obviously it's going to be fun to watch Udonis, teach us some basketball.
Yeah, and Steve Nash was my favorite player, being a Suns guy. So I've always been in awe of him, and now getting to be friends with him. What a great guy. But big thank you to Udonis Haslem for joining us today. And you know what? We also got to thank Roe for sponsoring this segment today.
Come on, Roe.
Warm up. It's your time.
Are we ready? Oh, is it time?
It's your time.
Big Whit Energy, baby. Let's
Hold on,
go.
let me turn my dial down a little bit here
you
so it's not
better
so
turn it
loud in
down.
my ears.
We got
All
my
right. Do you
boy.
have our guy for Big Whit Energy this week?
Do I have our guy? Are you kidding me? This is an easy one this week because everybody's already seen it. This guy is definitely the Big Whit Energy of the Week guy, Quinn Minors. Let me tell you something. You go back and watch this play against the Dallas Cowboys. This guy was absolutely, it's a pancake fest. Just smashing, folks. I love the style he plays with. He is a tone setter every week, but he finally got him one where they all lined up and even got him a little chin check at the very end of the play on one of the D linemen following the play. This guy was absolutely smashing people. This Broncos O-line, Fitz, is a problem. They're really good. You know, you think about this football team, with Garrett Bowles and Quinn up there leading the way and the ascension of really Bo Nix, and then defensively how good they are. Man, I'm telling you, Broncos might be more of a problem in the AFC than people are giving them credit for, and this guy's going to be a reason why.
Yeah, you've been all over them from the beginning, and I don't think people understand. You see those pancake blocks, and you think, gosh, well, he's so much bigger than those other guys, but trying to block a little dude in space is damn near impossible.
I have
so
plenty of where
impressive
I
to
never
see.
touched a soul. I mean, it literally. I think Sean used to give me the best compliment. He'd always say, Whit, all it ever takes for you, man, is just a pinky. And I always thought that was like, it's kind of like being a gunslinger as a quarterback. I thought he was saying, wow, you're really strong and powerful, but you also almost completely miss every single time you swing on a guy out in the middle of space. So it's a lot harder than people think, Fitz.
Yeah, sometimes when the guys olay and jump around you, then you do your job anyway because the running back gets past you.
Exactly.
So, speaking of running backs, Whit, our guy James Cook, what'd they do? They came out of the bye. They gave him the ball.
What do you know? Maybe we know something.
They looked pretty damn good when they gave him the ball, I thought.
They do. And listen, I keep saying it, man. It really, every week I look at the Bills and I say, I was texting you on Saturday. I'm nervous. Just because of who Carolina's kind of been every week, it's kind of, you don't know what you're going to get, but they do have some good D linemen. And it's like, man, if they don't lean on this run game and they don't lean on kind of the things to me that make them them, and that is, this is a Josh Allen and James Cook show. And everybody else are kind of players on the offense and they're role players and they have big parts. I'm not saying they're not a part of it. Like Shakir is obviously a huge part of these tight ends, trying to get them involved. But it's James Cook and Josh Allen. Like, this is who we need for the energy, for who we are as our identity. How many different ways can these two guys attack a defense? But unfortunately, Fitz, another injury on the Bills defense is going to hold Ed Oliver out a little bit. And that's the part that's going to scare me. I just don't know about the weapons they have on defense and if they're going to be enough when we get down to crunch time against some of these really good teams.
Yeah, I put a bookmark on a tweet from, it was an interview that Josh did during the training camp, and I just went back to it to look at it to make sure I had the quote right, because I knew that for better or worse, it was going to rear its head during the season. And so what Josh said was, if teams want to play post high, he has to go win for us, he being Keon Coleman. And hopefully win enough that they'll go back to too high, and we can throw to Khalil Shakir and Dalton Kincaid and Josh Palmer. So that just hasn't really come to fruition this year. Teams are playing single high, one high safety against the Bills at the second highest rate in the league.
Yep.
And the first 4 weeks, it was 54% of the time. The last 4 weeks, it's been 75% of the time. So that being said, the way they ran the ball, when you go single high, the reason you do it is you have an extra defender in the box. It's supposed to be harder to run against, and you should be able to have advantageous matchups on the outside with your receivers. You get an extra defender in the run game. It didn't seem to matter on Sunday, but this is going to matter for the Bills as the season goes on. So exactly what Josh was alluding to in training camp, unfortunately, hasn't come to fruition during the season, which is Keon and Josh haven't really been connecting like they should. And I just go back, and Bills fans are going to hate this, but you go back to Diggs' last year with the Bills, and they saw single high barely over half the time. And so since he's left, it's gone up each season. And the league average this year, just to put it in context of how high that number is right now, the 75% in the last 4 games, the league average of single high is 52%. So this is something that they're going to have to figure out. You know, you can do things in the run game. RPOs can combat that a little bit because you can gain an extra guy, but it's going to rear its head, and they need more out of Keon Coleman on the outside in order to go where they want to go this year.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I say what I say about the defense is that if not, it puts too much pressure on their offense. You know, you have to have a guy like Keon Coleman take that next step and be a true weapon because they're going to have to outscore some people. That's just the bottom line. They're going to have to be able to score, you know, more probably pressure to do that than in years past. And defensively, if they can't stay healthy, that's going to really end up being, unfortunately, the thing that's going to end their season if they can't have growth there at that position. And you know, I think James Cook and Josh is the answer, but at some point, those other things have to come alive.
The other thing in the AFC East that we saw, and you know, we both, I know we're really rooting for Joe Flacco, the kind of dude that he is, the story that it is right now, but that comeback by the Jets. You know, I had mentioned, I think it was 2 weeks ago, they need a spark. They got to put Tyrod in. They got to bench Justin Fields. Well, the spark they got was from their owner when he talked down on the starting quarterback of the Jets, and I thought that was a rallying cry for that team. And obviously the other rallying cry, we get the news, the sad news Sunday morning that Nick Mangold passed away. And the coolest part about the end of that game was the guy that hit the game-winning extra point was Nick Folk, and we were all teammates in New York together, me, Nick, and Nick. And he certainly was feeling it that day, was feeling you know, sad and thinking about all the memories and the great times he had with Nick, but really wanted to make that kick for him, and he came through at the end. And I thought there couldn't be a more fitting way than the 0-7 Jets to honor Nick than to win that football game on Sunday.
Yeah, really special. And I think it's been, you know, just continued every day, you know, this week. There's somebody coming out and kind of telling a story about Nick and like what a you know, it's just really unfortunate what happened, and it's tough and it's heartbreaking for his family. And, you know, of course, all our love and prayers go to them. But it's also been really special to see how many people he impacted, man, and just to see the amount of people that, you know, really share the things you'd really want to be known for, man. Just the ability to crack a joke and encourage and inspire and make a room better. Man, what else would you want people to say about you? You know, and I think that part has definitely been something that's been, you know, to watch people share their emotions around that and really their feelings has been special. And man, just wishing nothing but love and support for his family, because I know this is, you know, tragic and a tough situation for all those close to him. Yeah,
I've had a couple of sleepless nights. I mean, of my NFL teammates, you know, you put him in categories, you know, best friends, like he was certainly up there. He was a guy, just his dry sense of humor and his wit, his delivery was so good. But yeah, just, you know, I went through all of our text messages that kind of had been saved over the years, and the other night when I couldn't sleep thinking about it. And it was cool. Certainly emotional, just to kind of, you know, just he had me laughing at the back and forth that we had. But
I thought one of my favorites, Fitz, was the Rex Ryan talking about worrying about him and his contract, and he realized he was in front of him at Taco Bell. Like, I was like, I mean, I already knew Nick and I, you know, have a lot of shared feelings, but knowing that he loves Taco Bell made me really happy. But how about the first time
I ever met Nick Mangold? I had just been traded to the Jets, and I was there by myself during OTAs, kind of looking for houses or a place to stay with the family to move out there. And I pull up to this light, and it's a guy in a Bentley with the top down. And I'm like, oh my God, who is this going to be? And then as I get closer, I see there's a car seat, a rear-facing car seat in the back of the top down Bentley. And then I get to the light and stop, and I look over, and it is one furry man, blonde hair, blonde beard, larger than life, Nicholas Mangold. And that was the first time I ever met him. And from that moment on, it says so much about him. He certainly had a taste for the finer things in life.
Yes, he did.
But it also, like, family was always the most important thing to him.
Yep.
And that was something I'll never forget. He also was really big on Fridays. You've got your Fast Friday, or at least that's what teams used to do. And you come in, it's a quick day. You get on the field, you get your work, you kind of get out of there. Well, he did spa day every Friday. And so if it was a home game, he had a green robe that said Mangold 74. If it was an away game, he had a white robe that he put on that said Mangold 74. And he was in no hurry to get out of the facility. He got his treatments. He got his hot tub. He got his cold tub. He got his massage. But it was well known in the building that you were going to see Nick Mangold in his robe on Friday, spa
That's
day.
awesome.
And then just the other thing, which is something that we continue to do, the dinners that we have with Amazon and the camaraderie and the fellowship, that was always something that was so important to him.
Yeah.
He was always the leader of that offensive line room. And he really loved up on the young guys, but he also was old school, and that he was going to make you earn it. He wasn't going to give it to you. So that part of it was also great. He cared so much about everybody in that room and everybody on his team. But it was like he was a quarterback's dream, just his demeanor, his intelligence. He was always so calm during the game. And the one time he wasn't calm would be if you mess with one of his. He was an enforcer. He took that serious. Don't fuck with my guys. That was kind of his mentality on the field. But super amazing dude. And, right away you just think about his wife, Jenny. You think about the 4 kids. Matthew and Wheezy, Eloise. There's a great video of him when he gets inducted into the Ring of Honor. He's holding Charlotte, I think, his youngest daughter, and Thomas. You think about those kids, and it's just a sad day for them, but what a great man. And the outpouring of support has been pretty amazing. Just all the stories and just different things that why everybody loved and respected Nick so much. But I'll be headed out there Monday and Tuesday. He's got a service. Liza will probably come with me on Tuesday. She'll make her way out there just because he was such an important part of our lives and such a great dude. So thank you for letting me, ramble a little bit there.
No, of course, brother. He meant a lot to a lot of people, and I know, of course, was somebody really close to you, man. So,
yeah, and I just the last thing I'll say on it is, and I'm so fortunate that the day that his diagnosis came out, or the fact that he wanted a new kidney and he made that public plea to say that he needs a new kidney, I called him, and I'm so thankful for that 30-minute conversation, because even at that point, there was no sense anywhere that the end was near for him. He had been on dialysis and was doing these different treatments and things, but he was really hopeful, and we just got to have a normal half-an-hour conversation that ranged from his humor and making fun of guys to talking about the kids to how much he loved coaching, and was special to have that 30-minute conversation. I'm really glad it happened, and and then the other thing is just making the effort. Like when he got put in the Ring of Honor, I think for all of us, like, it's hard sometimes because our lives are so busy and kids and everything else, but in these big moments in people's lives, trying to make the effort to be there. I'll think about that day now as a really special day to be able to be involved in that when he was inducted, in the party at his house. And, the cops got called because he was getting rowdy. And then the cop, I realized, was really there just to say hi to Nick because they were good buddies.
Awesome.
But a lot of good stuff and a lot of good memories with Mr. Mangold. All right, let's take a hard right-hand turn here, Whit, and I would love to talk about our alma maters. I'll start, because Harvard right now.
I don't want to talk about mine yet. You go ahead.
6-0, baby. We're 6-0. We're rolling right now. It's been really fun to watch. And so the way the Ivy League works, you have 10 games. This will be the first year ever that the Ivy League champion will be able to go to the 1AA or FCS playoffs, which is big news. So this is going to be awesome. Harvard is in good position right now. They certainly have some tough games left. Dartmouth and Yale's always tough, but looking forward to it. A really good quarterback, Jaden Craig, this year. That's a senior that has some NFL aspirations. Hope to be watching him on Sundays. LSU, just checking in. They've probably played more than 6 games. Do they have 6 wins or where?
Stop.
I'm curious the state of LSU right now.
Fitz, I went home to Baton Rouge this weekend. Went to the game, took my son Michael and some other friends from Cali. Sat with Mr. Todd Graves and the Raising Cane's folks. It was great. It was awesome. It was a great weekend. Todd's always a great host, and we had a blast. But unfortunately, the game did not go very well, Fitz. It was also one of those really cool before the game. Our strength coach that's been there the entire time through Nick Saban, Les Miles, everybody won all these championships. Tommy Moffitt is the head strength coach for the Texas A&M Aggies. And, he was let go by Brian Kelly when he got the job. So it meant the world to all of us to see him because he raised all of us. We know that life with strength coaches, that relationship. And so we all dogpiled on him before the game and pregame. It was really cool. But that was kind of the last good moment. Other than I did get to see our boy Kyle Williams. Got to have a little hug with Kyle on the sideline. The coach.
He's the best. Yeah, Coach Kyle.
You would have had an epic time watching him do the tiger walk down the street into the locker room in his suit and his tie with his little briefcase.
No neck.
He looked super happy to be there. I'm sure you know Kyle's faces more than anybody. But him walking down through a bunch of like loud music and people screaming and hollering. Oh man, he was Papa Kyle. I was like, this is just, I could kill this guy right now. It's so great. I wanted to tackle him on the street just to make him laugh, but he was in serious mode. But that was the last good night. That last good part of the night. It got ugly from there.
I could preface this by saying I don't know Brian Kelly at all, but watching from afar, not just this year, but in general, it just seems like he doesn't treat people the right way. The way he talks to people, players, coaches. I have never been a fan, and maybe it's just the optics. And no, he's great when you get behind closed doors. But I've never liked the way that he talks to people on the sideline.
Yeah, I think it's tough when you look at college landscape right now. We're getting a lot of these coaches that are being fired in the middle of the season right this second, and lots of big payouts, which are just absurd. It's
$54 million.
Yeah, somewhere in the 50s. They're claiming they talked it down or worked it down to a lesser number. But either way, supposedly there was one large donor that really wanted to get it done, and he was willing to take on a large portion of it. Wow, unbelievable move. But I think what's interesting in that college landscape to me, Fitz, that I was sitting there talking to my wife Melissa about, is like, I don't know how many teams really dig into the actual hiring process like an NFL team does. And what I mean by that is like you hear these boards they have, and it's a board put together of a lot of donors or influential people, and they're going to evaluate a coach and those type of things. But I just think it's crazy in this day and age that we live in. I don't hear more of like a Stanford bringing in an Andrew Luck, or like some of these universities that have kind of gone with a player GM of some case. To where it's like somebody who's representative, like what do winning locker rooms look like? What do winning places look like? What are the actual things that players feed off of coaches from? Like if you look at across college football, some of the coaches we see being featured all the time from the energy they bring and who they are in the locker room, it sticks out like a sore thumb who like the guys are who are like, man, I'd love to play for that guy. And to your point, I don't know Brian Kelly at all either. But what I do know is I've reached out multiple times to like, hey, man, if there's anything I can do to mentor, to help, to just be there for you, if there's a conversation that we can have, behind the scenes, I don't need anybody to know about it, but love to help you. And gotten lots of like, oh, that's great, I'll keep that in mind type stuff. So there doesn't seem like an interest level there. And then I don't know anyone that shares the side of, hey, y'all, dude, yeah, man, this guy's really, his impact, his energy, all those things. I just haven't heard a single story. In fact, I've only heard really stories to the other side of it. You've even seen some current players who just played for him coming out and saying like one of the worst experiences they've ever had as far as like a human being and the leader he was. And I don't mean to bag on him as he got fired in this instance, but what I do mean to say is it's like when we're making these decisions and we're throwing around lots of money, I just feel like, man, you'd lean on people who maybe they've won championships in school. Maybe they've won in the NFL. Maybe they've had long NFL careers. Like, I just think there's so many guys. When I look at the list, every year LSU brags about how many people are in the NFL. Like, how about putting a group together of all those guys and saying, hey, why don't you guys come have some impact and influence on maybe who is the next head coach that's going to be leading the university? Since if anybody's going to have more pride in this place being successful, who other than you guys, right? And so I just think it's interesting that you don't see that. Like, I know Frank Wilson now, who's taking over as the interim right now. First thing he did, he sent out a text to all the guys that were part of the program, said, hey, every single one of you, you're welcome at practice. You can come anytime. Like, anytime. I want you any day you want to show up and be on the sideline and be at practice and any of that. I know a lot of you guys aren't all local. You're all welcome. And I thought to myself, first thing I thought was, that's cool, but why was it not already like that? Like, I'm very confused. Like, it should always be a culture and an atmosphere where everybody's welcome. I don't know how it's been at Harvard, but it's just crazy to me that there's not like an involvement of guys who've played there.
Interesting you bring that up. My coach, Tim Murphy, legendary coach, was there for 30 years. And he just retired 2 seasons ago. And so in the process of hiring the new coach, Erin McDermott, who's the AD, she reached out to some people, me being one of them, Andrew Berry being one of them, GM of the Browns. And she said, can you guys help me with this? And I tried to bring in as many candidates as I could. And then she said, look, we've narrowed it down to 4. And she had 3 guys, me being one of them, interview these 4 candidates and just give feedback. And, she was going to hire who she was going to hire, but she wanted feedback from some people that had been in organizations and around the sport and loved Harvard football. And the guy that was hired, he ended up being a guy from Princeton, which there was a lot of negative feedback from that. She stuck her neck out because she thought this was the best coach. And Andy Orrick, what he's done is he's done a great job. They won the Ivy League last year. They're undefeated this year. And the thing about the Harvard job that's just different. I mean, Ivy League football is just different than SEC, is that it's never seen as a stepping stone job. It's a destination. If you want to be the coach of one of these Ivy League institutions, like, this is it. This is the goal. This is where you want to be. Harvard had Joe Restic for a long time and Tim Murphy for 30 years. The hope is that Andy Orrick is going to be here for the next 25 years. That's what it is. And so when we went through the process, that's part of it too, is kind of weeding out. I actually talked to Chip Kelly a little bit about the job, and it was like, Chip, it would have been incredible. He would have been a great mind and innovative and fun, and he's got his place in New Hampshire, but in the end, like, it probably would have been a stepping stone to something else. So
it is crazy. Like, Fitz, I think about this. So let's go all the way back to when he was hired. And when he was hired was, an opportunity there. I was there in LA, playing in LA at the time. And I'll never forget, Scott Woodward now has been a part of Texas A&M hiring Jimbo Fisher, largest payout ever, like $75 million. Then goes to LSU as the AD and hires Brian Kelly, and now it's 50-something million. So you got 120 million in your last 2 hires in buyouts, right? And I know Scott; he was at LSU when I was there. A great guy, but listen, here's the thing. And I think sometimes these things come off in a way of just criticism, but the same thing I would tell Scott if we're playing on a team together. Hey, man, we might want to think of bringing in some people that help you make these decisions that aren't a bunch of people with just checkbooks, but actually could sit in a room and give you a presentation of why people are elite leaders, why they're actually special at what they do and can lead people. Because I think of now, look how many NFL head coaches are from just my Rams locker room. I reached out at that time to Scott Woodward and said, hey, man, if there's any information, any knowledge, I've played in the league for a really long time. I've been around a lot of special coaches. I've been around a lot that I think are great at being a coordinator, not necessarily a leader. I've been a lot of guys that I think are great at leading a room of guys, like in an O-line room or a QB room. Don't know that they'd be great in front of people. Like, I've been around to watch, hey, this style used to work. Now it kind of leans toward this is the style of coaching that players cling to. Like, you've been through a lot of those experiences. And my point is not just about me. It's about all the former guys that have played there. If you've played in the NFL, you've been around. And I think of you every time we travel every week, all the coaches, you've been around so many different guys in so many different ways to do it. that whether or not you help the process of who you actually hire, just the general knowledge of what you see that works and what you see that doesn't could be super useful to someone who's making that big of a decision, because LSU isn't a destination job like you're there forever, but it is, hey, we're competing for national championships and the standard is at the at most highest. So what is the most extensive process you could go through to try and make that decision the right one? To me, I think it's like, I'd want to see those universities say, hey, we're going to stop just writing checks for who the media says is hot and who the trend to go get is. Let's have an actual process and go find a guy that can absolutely change a place, right? And I think to me, that's what I would want to see a university do in this era, because it's just a totally different one now with NIL, with everything else. You can't just sit on your throne and say, I'm the dictator and I tell everybody what to do and I'm going to lead a university anymore. You've got to have more than that. And you see every personality of the teams that are really good right now, they do have more than just that.
I love that. Certainly well put and well said. And it is funny that that's the easiest thing to do is there's a coach at a lesser college than ours that performed well. So
write him a check.
All of a sudden, let's write him a check and get him here. Be interested to see what ends up happening there. And who knows if they'll ask you for advice or not. It's okay.
I got a list of guys they can ask.
It's okay to ask. You don't have to listen, but it's okay to ask.
Yep.
I don't know, but I'm not a huge college football guy, but I will be cheering on Harvard. And if they go to the playoffs, I might have to take you with me.
I'm going to go.
Come on, me and you are going, baby.
Oh, I'm in.
Could you imagine a little Harvard at Montana? How special that would be. That would be so sick.
Yeah, I'll end up with a Harvard tattoo or something. Who knows what'll happen?
Last thing before we sign off here. So Tate, my junior 16-year-old, does announcing for the school, as you know, and it was the big number 1 Basha where he goes versus number 2 Hamilton this last week, and unfortunately Basha lost, but his broadcast on YouTube did over 6,000.
What?
People,
Let's go!
So cool.
That's awesome. Let's
so
go, Tate.
Cool. Yeah,
That's
it was
sick,
pretty
man.
awesome.
Happy
so
for Tate.
he was on cloud 9, and it was fun to listen to. But anyway, that's it for us this week. But we'll be back next Wednesday with all the biggest news from Week 9. We didn't have a beard of the week this week. You know what? I'm going to give the beard of the week to me because I'm at a point. I got it trimmed. When we went to Fade O'Clock in Green Bay at the beginning of the year, it was a little short on the trim. I'm finally at a length that I feel good about. Beard of the week goes to me. Yes, I can do that. Please send us your beard pics. We would love to see them. Follow the show on social media at Fitz and Whit with the A-N-D spelled out. Fitz and Whit is a Wave original. Thanks again to Udonis Haslem, our guy, our teammate, for joining us. And thank you to our production crew. And thanks again to all you beardos for tuning in. We will see you next week. Peace.
Peace.